Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, but has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of our game of Star-Crossed. To learn how we generate stories playing games from Star-Crossed, go check out our Star-Crossed Rules Primer. So Star-Crossed is designed by Alex Roberts, who we had on the show when we were playing her For the Queen, which is now available on Evil Hat Games. It should be coming out in June, so check that out. And you can listen to our interview with her. And Star-Crossed, you can check out the primer to learn more about it. It is a game about relationships. It's pretty fantastic. So I am facilitating the game. It is a 2-player game. So I am John Holt, facilitator for this, and our humble players returning.
I'm Sharang Biswas.
And
Lucas Sandford-Long.
All right. So welcome back, guys. So we have a wizard school in a Victorian sort of time with like maids, turn of the century maybe a little bit. Our wizard is trying to pass an exam.
And the exam is finding the headmistress's cat, Dame Butterfingers.
Yes. It has so far thwarted their efforts to find them, and so they've summoned a demon. And the two have an attraction, but the worlds are oil and water. They are not to be mixed socially and just in terms of the energy that maintains the demon being here. We are 3 scenes deep. We're about to enter our 4th scene. We're going to get right into it. The 4th scene is hard at work.
Are we going to go now try some divination?
But because we established magic is hard.
I think I will have some sort of a shortcut to be
Right.
like, you set up a couple things, and then I will use my magical
Also,
abilities
you
to
can
sort
probably
of shortcut
find some of the ingredients much faster than I could. Like if we need like the queen ant of a wasp nest that has never seen daylight, you can like, there's one up there, I can feel it, or whatever.
I can let you do the divination without a lot of
Trapping
the
is
effort
the
that
thing.
you would.
Where are you performing this divination?
Like you'd be like, it needs to be windswept.
I would suggest let's go outside into the flower gardens.
Yeah, flower gardens.
We'll find a open area where we can perform this ritual and hopefully find something leading to the cat.
All right. Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
That the gardens has a maze, and navigating a maze is part of this ritual of divination.
Yeah,
Oh, I like
like Destiny and Sandman, like he
Mhm.
walks his maze. sort of thing.
And in multiple exits that could magically change or whatever, but the course
Yeah.
of divination
Oh, okay.
is
I like
altered
it.
by how
Like
you
the-
traverse the path.
Oh, and that's interesting because that's not a kind of magic I know. Because you are magic. So like,
Yes.
sometimes you involve your whole self in the magic, and that's really weird to me.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
That's cool.
We'll start. We're heading outside. I'll point towards the gardens that I see up ahead.
It's a flower maze. The flower garden is actually a flower maze.
Some hedges. They're not like full length hedges, but you can just sort of see over them. You can see the heads of other people, but
Right.
you
Okay,
can't see.
Can
the
it be
path.
like the hedges are floral and also at different, there are these islands of different rare flowers, and that's part of like the idea of the maze as well. It's like, oh yeah, it's a maze to find the flower patch you want to find.
I have a suggestion for our divination. Your standard ingredients, traditions, perhaps were not effective, but with my knowledge and abilities, perhaps I can help expedite the process. Follow me towards these flowers. It's an active process, walking through the maze. While you do it, focus on this cat that you're looking for. That will help us concentrate. I will manage the magic portion of the. I'm not going to touch you at this point, but I'll sort of lead you towards the beginning of the maze and start here and let's go down the left path here. It's sort of the first.
So this is really interesting to me, and this I think feeds into this like impulsiveness because you can just do magic, right? For me to do a divination, I have to like fast and meditate and so it's like, oh, you just want to do this. We're not going to consider this. Like, okay, and that's interesting and intriguing. As you lead me, I like linger in your eyes again for a moment because we did that. There's a precedent for that where you like looked in my eyes and I linger and your eyes are like excited and wild, and give off like a non-civilized like air. And I like nod. And I'm also at the same time a little bit eager because this is a new kind of magic, and I'm really into that. You know how they say like good dates are like when you're trying new things and stuff like that. It feels kind of like that, right? Like trying new things together. We start walking. Can you describe to me what you're doing physically as you're doing your magic?
I'm actually becoming more demon or fey-like. There's flashes of less natural, like a burst of like strange flowery smell. That's none of the flowers here that suddenly like appears around me. Some obvious magic as we're beginning to walk. It seems like it's building up a little bit.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna do my daily power, and I'm gonna intentionally reveal something personal. I've noticed that you're very friendly, and initially I was like worried, and then like, but you're helping me, and you've helped me more than I asked, and like and then this like wondrous sort of like magic you're doing, which is like pleasant and joyful, and like flowers and stuff, and I'm like in awe kind of, and I like look at you, and as we're walking, I like keep looking at you, and I'm imagining you don't have to like fully concentrate super like intently.
Yeah, no, I think it's sort of natural.
You're
for
just
me,
doing
or the,
it. Yeah,
the magic
'cause
is not.
You're made of magic. I'm feeling like revelatory. I'm like, oh, I'm like, oh, I work I work very hard at magic, and it's so it's fascinating. In fact, that's not the good word. It's so wonderful to see that you just do it, and I work so hard at it, and I start talking about like my family a little bit, not like let me tell you about my family, but like in a way I'm like it, I'm not good at other things. My brothers are, like hunting foxes and like dealing with the business of the estate, and magic is something I I I do well, but it's a lot of work, and it's it's amazing to see how it comes so easily to you, and I'm kind of like awed, and it's really interesting, kind of awed by you. So, oh no, oh no.
After hearing you share a little bit about yourself as I'm walking, begin to reminisce a little bit on the past wizards I have worked with. This particular ritual is one that I learned while working with former associate, a wizard. We perhaps became friends over our time working together.
That's very taboo. Ooh.
Maybe friends is not the correct word, but I'm a little bit hesitant to call myself friends with a human, but we work together many times. So this is actually a ritual we performed together to help find his lost children that were kidnapped back in a much less civilized time when there were wars between the wizards. It was something I don't talk about too often, or I'm sure it's not something your histories cover, the atrocities that occurred then.
So you definitely intentionally revealed.
Yes, I did.
You told me to focus on my cat. I'm clearly not focusing on the cat. I'm focusing on you because you're telling me about yourself. And that's what I'm thinking of. Like, oh, wow. And this like history that's so interesting. But normally I would be like, oh, wow, secret histories? What is this? But instead, and I don't realize even, I'm thinking about that, but more your role in it. So I'm thinking about you more than the history, which is unusual for me, right? Because I consider myself very academic and studious. And because I'm focusing on this and you're still doing the spell, divination leads us to something to do with you and me rather than something to do with a cat. I don't even realize this. In that we do actually end up in front of the rose garden, which is the patch in the, how the different floral patches
of the maze.
So this is one of those like floral hearts, those floral centers, but this one is all roses, like pink and red only, not even yellow and white. And I'm like, oh, we've reached dead end. It doesn't initially strike me that you told me that, but it doesn't say dead end. I just think, oh, dead end, not like, oh, the cat is here or something, right? And I'm like, oh, and then I look around because I'm just curious about this like place. It's like really lovely. It's like moonlit. It has to be moonlit. I think of romance game. It has to be moonlit. Moonlit night.
It's not cloudy and rainy.
Nope, it's not. Damn it. Genre tropes. It's moonlit night, and we're in this like fragrant rose garden we just like stumbled into. And I look around, and I start wandering. I stumble and walk into you at one point.
Okay.
Because you're also walking around, and I didn't realize I'm like kind of odd by this place. I'm in this like odd mood, right? Like not odd mood, odd mood.
Mhm.
You were talking about all this stuff, which is like amazing, and you were doing amazing magic, and like the night is beautiful, and I'm just like kind of like starstruck, moonstruck, demon struck, and I like stumble into you. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I go bright red again, almost as red as the rose garden. So this is the first time I unintentionally touch you.
So I'll reach out and sort of catch you before you fall into the roses and thorns. As this ritual how this ritual works is, since I'm sort of the source of the magic, I can tell that we've reached a dead end, but
Right.
I don't get the like knowledge or the insight that it's supposed to go to you.
Right.
So I'm sort of like looking around like where's the cat? So I'm a little bit uncertain as to like what. Obviously you're distracted, but I don't fully, catch that it's you're distracted by me or focusing on me more than I catch you, and then do you feel like you've reached the conclusion of the ritual? It seems that the magic is no longer flowing. Sort of the magical effects around me have like decreased a little bit. I'm looking sort of how I did originally.
Yeah. I started because for some reason I had forgotten. Like I was distracted. I wasn't thinking about the cat. So I'm like, oh, right, the cat. Like suddenly strikes me again because I was like full of this like awe. Right. Does that mean the cat's nearby? And I look around and I kind of half-heartedly I'm like, Dame Butterfingers, Dame Butterfingers, are you here? Puss, 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 Dame Butterfingers. Like my heart's not entirely in it because I'm still like thinking about these wondrous things you were telling me and showing me and you. But I do, when you let me go again, the same thing. I like look at where you grabbed me, and I look longer. I'm like,
I will actually reach out and pick one of the flowers here, and
oh, maybe you can
hand it to
reveal
you.
something about it.
And say perhaps the flowers here are part of some further ritual we need to conduct. As I say this, I'm looking around, I'm not seeing the cat, so I'm like, well, the cat's not here. Maybe do you know anything else about this cat that these flowers resonate with you? As I hand you the flower, I'll graze your hand. So I think this would be unintentional. I think I'm focusing on the work right now, and this was not.
We're like
I was
roles
just
reversed.
I was like, let's find this cat, and so I was just.
So
It
you're
was
still
just
like playfully attracted.
yeah. I'm still attracted, but it's like that at the moment it wasn't really.
Yeah, at the moment, it literally was.
I was just like,
this-
let's get some of these flowers, and
Yeah.
so I think that
So you
would be
grazed my hand with
unintentional.
the rose, and that's electrifying almost. Like you're giving me a rose and touching me, and I'm like, whoa. I've seen that sort of thing happen with my brothers. My oldest brother and his boyfriend, and my middle brother and one of his fiancés who ended up dying. I don't know. She went to war and died. Yeah, she was turned to stone, and her statue is in her family estate right now. I just stand like stunned for a bit, and let's end the scene with that.
All right, so we're on to the next scene. Close, quiet, and alone.
It's early morning, but you're sort of getting tired after you stayed up all night summoning me and starting this search.
Yeah. And like doing magic is tiring.
You want to maybe go back and rest for a little while. Maybe not sleep, but you're like, let's take a break.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we go back to your room or if you would not want to bring me there.
So that's interesting because I said at the start I don't bring you to my room because I was scared. But that could actually be an interesting scene to play out. Taking you back to the room, like, okay, sure, something like that.
Yeah, the pretense could be the task at hand, like tools.
Yeah,
that were
yeah,
given,
something like that.
like
But
in like instructions.
it's an interesting scene to play, negotiating like with myself that it's okay if you to come to my room, whatever. Is it dawn a little bit after the rose garden scene, or did we do other stuff and then it's dawn?
Maybe we continued trying, we tried some other divination, but I think it's not too long afterward.
It's like the magic hour. It's like pre-dawn, right?
Right. It's like
Right,
that
the sky's
early
light.
morning.
Oh, it's like the twilight.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's a potent moment.
We're discussing going back to.
Yeah.
This is that moment too, where the world, like the quiet, is just that sort of peaceful moment. No one's up and awake. the animals of the
The
night
servants will
have,
get up
like-
very soon, but not yet.
Yeah, and the animals of the evening have like quieted with the sun starting to rise, so that it's just this like, serene moment.
We're done with our divination. Seems sort of successful to me, so I will sort of lead you to that other garden and pause there, gesture to you, what are our next steps here? Have you gained the insight you need to find this cat you're looking for? Would you like additional help from me? What would you like me to assist you with next?
I'm fascinated by you now, and I think you're awesome, and I don't want you to leave at this moment, right? So I'm like, oh no. Also, I haven't found the cat. I have a rose, which you said is part of it, so I just assume, oh, I guess I'll do something with the rose now. So maybe I think the rose is a sympathetic token. Like maybe I need to use this to find the cat. I color again. I just keep coloring. Oh, I think so. We still haven't found the cat, and I would appreciate some more help if that's okay with you, Claudius. Oh, and you should call me Bertie. That's what my friends call me. Only yeah. Oh, is that revealing something?
When you say that's what my friends call me, that's a review.
Because you know my name. That's not special, but the
Right.
trappings of my name are. And I color, and I'm like, this isn't very proper, but I was thinking of doing a sympathetic divination using the flower, Asclepius's potent locator. Well, the bronze sickle is in my room, and I do have my lab set up in my apartments. So because we're rich, you will have to come back there to help me. And I'm kind of going beetroot red now.
You're like stuttering over your words.
Yeah, because it's both. It's many things, right? It's a demon, and I shouldn't show them my room. That's dangerous. They shouldn't know personal details. B, I'm inviting a strange boy who I'm not courting into my room, and I'm like a teenager and horny, all kinds of things, right? So it's like I'm like just all these things. And so I'm like, I just say that basically.
As a demon, I recognize your uncertainty, but I'm like, sure, let's go, go back there. If you need anything, I think I'm suspicious at this point that the flower didn't really seem connected to the cat, so it seems like something else is going on, but I'm not sure what it is. I do still have time to spend with you in whatever your true task is. Seems to me that you don't really, perhaps there's something else that you want. There have definitely been times in the history where demons are called to seduce people or things like that. So it's not, I didn't think of it at first, but it's like, maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe there's something else. Something else is going on.
If Bertie knew that, you thought that, he'd be like so.
So I'll reach out to grab you and guide you. Be like, point me towards your room. I try to guide you, but I don't actually know where your room is. So
Right.
But I grab you around the shoulder a little bit and intentionally go for like the not quite as seductive because I'm not quite.
But making more closeness.
Add some extra closeness and.
I keep reddening. You did this intimate sort of gesture, and I'm like, I'm kind of going jelly. And I'm like, kind of like, wait, where's my room? Like almost to myself, like, where's my room again? And then I'm like, oh right, it's that way. We start like walking through the hallways. And I start making excuses. I'm like, oh, I apologize. It's not very tidy. I've been studying for this exam. And it's been really frustrating. I've been working so hard at this, and this. You said yourself this should be an easy task, but it hasn't. Because I'm so flustered right now. I'm trying to channel that and redirect that to something that doesn't make me think about taking a cute boy into my room. Like what it's more like think of something else. And so that frustration is like moving, and I'm like. This is something I need to. It's very important that I do well in this exam. Like I said, I'm not going to inherit the estate at all. And if I need to do anything for myself, it has to be this. And that's why I summoned you. No other reason. No. And I'm getting super frustrated. Not frustrated. Like super embarrassed. No, I didn't. Not that I don't want you here. I wouldn't have summoned. I just shut up. And I think to myself, I just stop talking now because this is
I will let you lead me,
So it's like an apartment.
lead you in the entryway that's your study-ish area and look around. You said it was a little messy, but
Yeah.
it's mostly,
Books.
it's just, yes, it's basically all your studying materials and all your
Charts
magical things.
Yeah, they're all like star charts posted
Yes.
around and like moon charts. And...
Yes. I'll look around and say, let me help you search for it. You said you were looking for your sickle, and I'll start to walk around your room and look through your stuff a little bit. Not overly intrusive, but like, sort of out of curiosity as like, what sort of things are you studying? You know,
Oh, so you are looking at personal stuff. That's
yes, I am looking at personal
Yeah,
stuff. I mean,
yeah.
well, it's just magical studying,
Right,
but not.
Oh yeah, because
I'm-
that's what we have our commonality, right? Like the
Right.
relationship.
I'm sort of like, oh, I'm curious as to what sort of magic this wizard practices. Maybe personal curiosity, but also professional.
Right. Yeah,
curiosity,
you're
both.
a magician. Yeah, I'm also guessing that all demons are magic, but not all of them practice magic and study. You know, like it seems like you're a demon who actually does a lot of magic, while some demons are magic, but they're not like they'll
Right.
like,
Yeah. There shouldn't. You know,
build
or
me a tower, go, and they just haul bricks, right? While
Yeah.
you actually like are intellectually inclined. I notice you looking around, and this is my study, sort of like. Well, there's an apartment, but it's not a palatial apartment, and so I use this foyer area, which is also a living room
And you'd
area.
be proud of it too. Like this is
As my study, yeah.
Yeah.
I use that as my study, and like my charts are up there, and I have, in fact, there are 2 charts up there that are of my devising, right? Like I have been working on some research on different species of mandrake, because usually people don't look at the like species of mandrake differently. Like mandrake, it does this thing. I'm like, oh no, but you know, the common mandrake versus the vulgar mandrake have these subtle properties. As you're looking around, I am proud of this room. I'm also nervous. Like again, I want to take my mind off the fact that there's a hot boy in my room. I start talking about, I start pointing to my mandrake chart where I've had detailed drawings of like nose structure of the li part of the mandrake. And I'm like, I've actually been working on some research, you see, about identification of mandrake subspecies, because I do think that with the proper study, we can find that there's subtle application different that can be really important. And I'm babbling again, right? I start talking about like how, so my brother Cyril, none of my brothers bully me. They don't, I don't have a miserable childhood, but they like make fun of me, right? And they don't go to Magic University. They went to whatever university else. One of my sisters goes to Magic University, but he was like, oh God. And Cyril keeps telling me that I'm foolish for like being so into plants, especially those that scream at you. But you know what? Cyril is going to get an estate later, and I will not. And I like mandrakes, and there's nothing wrong in enjoying mandrakes. And I don't know if I'm unintentionally revealing something. I haven't really. I think I've revealed a lot. I want to try and reveal something.
I think it's touch is what you need.
So okay, let's say there's a delicate orrery that I've set up in one corner, but it's under a cloth, so you can't see it's an orrery, which is very delicate. And you're like poking around, and I'm like, oh! I get really excited because I built this orrery out of metal that I mined myself, which was very hard because I'm not a miner. I rush over. And I'm like, oh, do you like the orrery? I have the hypothetical demon stars on it. I try and like remove the like cloth from it, and I fling it onto you by accident, and I go beat it right. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, and I try and grab it from you, but it just gets more tangled in you, and you're just like, and I'm just like, oh no, and it's just like this flustered moment, and I'm like puce at this point. So I'm trying to like sort of show off, impress a boy, but also distract myself.
I'll sort of help you pull it off just because I'm covered in cloth. I'd look over and be like, oh yes, there it is. I will look at the orrery and start to examine it. And so I see you've done your research on demon moons, as you call them. Things look a little bit different from our perspective, but it seems that you have the gist of what our worlds are like. I'm impressed with your knowledge of demons. I'm surprised you do not know enough to research specific demons. I'm surprised you were not able to find my name when you were searching for someone to summon. I like to think that I am known among some of the wizard circles. As I mentioned before, I've assisted many, but I'm surprised you didn't find my name while you were searching among the records of the demons. In fact, and I'll reach out and sort of point at one of the sort of orbs on the, I believe this moon here is actually the representation of where I am from. in the cosmology.
Whoa. That's like intense knowledge.
That's my ball.
I'm fascinated by this, right? You just told me something wild, but I'm also like super into you at this point, and I have very confusing feelings. And I realize like it doesn't escape me that you're telling me something that's pretty intimate. Like demons don't talk about the demon realm. There's like very little writing. There's some Greek writing, maybe you revealed it to the Greeks, but there's some very vague suggestions in some early like Homerian Greek. And Homer wrote some really early stuff. Some actually speculate that the rosy-colored dawn is actually a thing from the demon world. You just shared it really intimate to me, and I realized, oh, and you're in my room and you're looking at my stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is getting too much. Would you like some tea? I gesture towards the fireplace where I have like my kettle and things. Because I don't have a kitchen, but I do have a kettle when I want to make myself tea. Normally, you could order, but like in the middle of the night when you're studying, you don't want to wake up a maid and get tea. Just make.
I would be happy to share a glass with you, and I will walk over towards the fire and
You just light
with a
it.
gesture light the fire.
What color is the flame?
I think it looks normal.
Okay,
It's-
okay.
but it's just obvious, just the magic of lighting the fire.
Okay. I think it's a good end scene, actually.
A disagreement becomes heated.
You've had a chance to calm down.
Or
We've had tea
maybe
and we're
it didn't calm me, right? Like I had tea, it has caffeine in it, and I'm just getting more flustered about it. I'm like, oh, I'll never find this cat. Like I even summoned a demon to help me. Like nothing's happening. I'm terrible, or like I'm doing everything wrong, and
you've become frustrated at the lack of progress.
Yeah. It exacerbated like emotions and like.
So you guys are
tension.
still in the chamber,
I guess.
kind of
yeah.
like
Okay,
in
so
front
we're-
of this fire.
so we're-
and-
Maybe we just finished the tea.
We finished drinking. We had pleasant
It was
conversation. and it started.
Darjeeling tea because I'm really into the Orient.
As we're finishing up the tea, I'm glad to see that we've had a chance to relax a little bit, pause in our search. Perhaps finding this cat isn't quite as important as it seemed. Perhaps there's something else I could help you with. As I'm saying this, stand up, get up from the table and reach out. And as I'm coming over to put away the tea that I was drinking, brush up against as a very intentional, here I am kind of.
Oh,
Like,
saucy.
like, should we do something else?
Yes, like something else, perhaps.
And now you gotta
and-
pull.
yes.
That's so saucy! In this like Victorian tea drinking, demon summoning world. I'm like startled, and I have like initially I'm like, what? I have no idea, and I'm caffeinated. And I don't know because okay, so that has never happened to me, right? And I'm also this like propriety and like I'm raised a gentle nobleman, so I'm like, what? I'm like confused, but I think I know what you mean. But I'm like, so I'm just very confused. And also, you said let's not find the cat, but I need to find the cat. I'm acutely aware suddenly could be a very dangerous situation, right? Like there's a demon. He just learned a lot about me. He power comes from knowing about someone, right? The name is the construct, and the power is like knowing about it. Except the demon's the other way around. If I know your name, but at the same time, like danger is thrilling, and it shouldn't be. Like no, like you should think things out and like know everything, and it's thrilling. I get really and I drop the teacup onto the floor, and it's made of nice china, not like super expensive china, but like china's expensive, and it shatters, and it leaves. Like the tea is finished nearly on my cup, like we were finishing, like you said, and it shatters, and I'm like, oh, and that's an excuse to like distract myself what you were saying, and I grab the stuff to clean up, but that just brings me closer to you. Like I'm like nudging against your leg and maybe your crotch at this point, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I was trying to like clean the tea and like distance myself from this situation by like focusing on this situation, and then I'm suddenly like I made this worse. If that's an unintentional touch.
I will sort of pause in my advances. 'Cause obviously, you're not. I'm not gonna press further at the moment.
Right.
But here, let me help you with that. I will wave my hand and clean up the spilled tea on the floor.
Uh-huh.
I'll leave the cups and everything. Are you sure there's nothing else I can do to help? Your clothing seems you've gotten tea all over your shirt.
So saucy, Luke.
So yeah, I'm cleaning up the tea, but then
Yeah,
I don't
wait.
magic off your shirt.
Right. So I look down. I'm like, oh. I just realized my shirt's dirty. And I'm like, and okay, I want to reveal something. That's oh yeah, this shirt because I latch onto what he does is he latches onto other things to distract himself from those emotions, right? He doesn't really know why he's so scared of this, but he like all kinds of things. The shirt. Oh yes, my mother gave it to me. She gave it before I died, and I thought I'd wear this shirt for good luck for tonight. To find the cat. Because she gave it to me, and she believed in me. And I just like flustered. That's all. Like I'm trying to just think about this shirt and like telling you the history of this shirt. Okay, I don't think the scene is ending yet. I think it's like still bubbling, like it's hitting a bubble point. I'm like talking about my shirt, like a bomb.
Okay, actually, here's what I'm gonna.
We probably used like 6 hours.
Yeah, no, that's. I think
At least,
so.
yeah.
Well. Oh, well,
That's
that's
good.
it.
That's the
Oh my
Tower of
god,
Terror.
that was so startling.
I was surprised it didn't fall like one scene
Yeah.
ago.
Before we go to the epilogue, though, so we do this climax, right? So who is the last player to touch the tower before it fell?
Luke.
The lead, right? That player's character is the one to act on their feelings.
So we're in the scene where I'm on the floor, you're setting up, there's flickering firelight, it's nearly dawn or it's sunrise. I spilled tea on myself. You just said, you need to get rid of your shirt, your tea is gone. And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just babbling like a bumba.
For me, this is a less romance, more lust on my
But,
part.
like,
But it's
sexy.
like,
It's a passion.
it's much more passion.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how demons.
Yeah. Or if they at all or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
But I think it is it's much more of a passion. It's similar,
it's like a hot
Yes.
moment. But it's not like I have to have sex with this.
Right.
But what do you?
No.
But what do you?
So
do
I think
as
I will say, well, if it would make you feel more comfortable, and I will pull off my toga.
Oh my god!
you have nothing else. You're fully revealed.
Yes.
And for you, that's like whatever.
Yes. It seems like you were very caught up in this shirt thing. So I decided that maybe that will resolve this last.
I like that as a final image of the scene where I'm on like the firelight's like slightly illuminating us. It's not very bright, and then you're like, if it makes you more comfortable, you take off your toga, and then it's like, and then freeze frame there and see. That's a really interesting moment
Are demons' names like written in runes on their, like...
on their body,
Perhaps.
on their penis.
Yeah, their short name and then their longer name. All right, so now we go to the epilogue. So having torn ourselves away from the climax, so this prompt will be inspiration, kind of like these were. Lead and follow is set aside. The dance is over. So together you will tell the end of the character's story. And you guys hit 20,
Yeah.
right?
that
That's
high?
that's top of the chart, right? 20
Really?
plus is like good.
All right.
You ready? Your mind is overruled by the frantic beating of your heart. Damn the world. From now on, you only need each other.
But I like the idea of rather than even having like a finite like actions epilogue of like ending a feeling and an image. Like I'm thinking we're gonna have sex. Like that's probably
That seems like that's the next step here.
right. And I like the idea of just ending each of us maybe say an image or a sensation or something. And like the world dissolves into sensation because it also has the idea of this like union of this like demon and human and like it's all like magic and transformation and all that. I kind of like this like the camera pans to like the orrery which starts moving on its own accord as like motion is happening on the other side of the room. The orrery starts to move.
There is a magical reactive element going off that as our clothes are now strewn on the on the study. So we've moved to the bedroom now. We don't want to, we're both fully aware of
what's
all the
happening.
books and stuff. But so we've moved. We're not destroying everything there. But there is a sort of magical light, a flickering of flame almost off of me, the demon.
Yeah.
But not hot, but like
like hot.
yeah, yes, lighting up the room.
Okay, now we're looking from outside, and the window's like foggy. It's like pre-dawn still, right? It's just rising sun. As you can see, like our two shadows, like on the bed, like moving and stuff. And then on the windowsill is Dame Butterfingers, just sitting there like mewing and like peering in the window, like mew, 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 and then like it ends.
that, our story ends. We will return with a new tale to spin to dare to entertain. I was the facilitator, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. Sharang, where can people find you?
I'm Sharang Biswas. You can find me on Twitter at Sharang Biswas, and the spelling is on the website on the Board Ghost website. You can find it. And my Twitter links to my website and also my itch.io, which is Astrolingus, so ASTROLINGUS, star-tongued. You can find that. And I want to mention a few things that are going on, because I think they're kind of cool. This year, I've been a columnist for Sub-Q magazine, which is an online magazine of interactive fiction, so playable literature. I have one story on there. It's about melodramatic vampires, but there's some really great stuff there, including, Anna Anthropy's really famous story about holding your loved one, queers in love at the end of the world, and it takes 10 seconds, But it's a really great magazine. I've been writing a nonfiction column for it this year. Every 2 months, I'm writing a piece about interactive fiction. I encourage you to check that out. I also have a piece, by the time this airs, should be released, for First Person Scholar. It's a piece on how LARP can build queer community with a focus on Just a Little Loving and Beat Generation, which are two destination immersive LARPs. I'm also really excited right now with Lucian Khan, another really great indie game designer in New York. We got a grant from the Effing Foundation to produce a book of LARP and tabletop games themed on sex and sexuality. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to be once we have the designs, we're curating a number of different writers and designers. Once out, we'll be talking about that. So please do check that out. And as usual, I make weird things all the time. Check out my Twitter. I keep posting about things I'm doing. I should have a secret project, a D&D project coming out, releasing in April. I'm also on Jason Piter's new sci-fi role-playing game, I'm a Stretch Goal. I don't want to say too much because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but I can say it's a sci-fi role-playing game that Jason Piter, Genesis of Legend Publishing, is making, and I'm a Stretch Goal. So lots of cool things coming up. I hope you check some of it out, and thank you for listening to Board Ghost, which I've been on so many times. It's so fun, so thank you.
Yeah. And Lucas, where can people find you? Or
Mostly in
Out in the
person,
world.
so
All
yes,
right,
out in the
awesome.
world. But
Well, again,
Happy
thank
to
you.
participate.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for
Thank you.
doing your inaugural show with us and
Yeah.
playing this game that's new for the show, and you're new to the show. It's all great.
Yeah, I
And
enjoyed it.
Sharang,
Lots of fun.
thank you again for coming back.
Of course.
So-
And one last thing I always like to say is always support indie games, support indie creators, look at Starcrossed, see if you want to buy it. It's wonderful. You get a Jenga set with it. If you don't own a Jenga set, you'll get that as well. It's very exciting. And if you can't get it for whatever reason, talk about it, because supporting indie creators is really important. That's what allows indie creators to make their weird experimental stuff.
Yeah, so to find out more about the engine and players in our game and all Sharang's good stuff, go check out boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. I'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. Also, one last thing, if you would like to get episode halves early, so get it more all in one go, if you are a patron of us on Patreon at patreon.com/boardghost, you can get at certain levels access to the full episodes earlier, both halves, as soon as we get them edited. Also some episode art and some exclusive how to play videos for these games. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they're consumed, the truer they become.
Dying don't agree with me.